Department of Biotechnology, DTU, in collaboration with Institute Innovation Council, welcomes you to a webinar on the era of Indian startups. The day aims to raise awareness about the importance of creativity and innovation in problem solving and encourage creative multidisciplinary thinking at individual and group levels. Today we have with us two eminent speakers, Dr. Vipin Kumar, Director and Chief Innovation Officer of National Innovation Foundation, Ahmedabad. Welcome, sir. And Professor Abha Rishi, CEO, Atal Incubation Center, Birla Institute of Management Technology, Noida. So now I request Ms. Vandana to formally introduce our esteemed speakers. Vandana.
Yes, ma'am.
Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Before starting the session, I'd also like to request everyone except the presenter to keep their mics and cameras off during the lecture. So now we may start the session. As quoted by Thomas Edison, there's always a way to do it better. We just have to find it. And to enlighten us in that direction, I would first like to call upon Dr. Vipin Kumar, who is the Director and CIO of National Innovation Foundation, Ahmedabad, India. Dr. Vipin has incubated several innovative technologies which have made their way to the domestic as well as international markets. He has also worked as a resource person in UNESCO's course on innovation management and workshops of policymakers and researchers. He has been an instrumental part of the Festival of Innovation and Entrepreneurship organized every year under the aegis of the President's House in India and the Inspire Awards Monarch to motivate millions of school students to pursue science and career in research. Today, he'll be taking us through the recent developments in India's startup ecosystem. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I would be very happy to share my views with this august audience. First of all, my tribute to former President of India and Bharat Ratna, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He was not only the missile man of the India, but he was the innovation man also. I remember I'm fortunate that I got opportunity to work with him in close collaboration or coordination. I got his guidance time to time. In fact, what Festival of Innovation and Entrepreneurship with President House, you are seeing it here today. Somewhere the seed was sown by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam when he started giving award to the innovators. Then the moment, in the moment, other presidents like the Pratibha Patil ji started organizing the exhibition in Rashtrapati Bhavan, and our former president, Sri Pranab Mukherjee ji, converted into the Festival of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So somewhere Dr. Kalam is, the starting point of this innovation movement. And I remember that whenever I went to receive him at airport, during, the travel, he always asked about the innovators. He remembered the name of large number of innovators, and always, I need to do the preparation before meeting him. In fact, I have to keep the updates because always he will keep what happened to that innovation, what happened to that innovation. So he was really the man of innovation, and he motivated probably the maximum number of innovators of India. So let me share my presentation. In fact, since large number of students are here, so I kept, just a minute. somewhere. See, it is showing that my entire screen will be. Let me show. Are you getting my screen there?
Yes, sir. Sir, please make it full screen.
Now it is there.
Yes, sir.
The presentation is on the full screen, na?
No, sir. Still it is not there. Tushar, please help.
Yes, sir. It is the full screen only.
No, it is full screen on my computer.
Yes, sir. Your presentation is full screen.
Now it is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let me share that what we started few years back. So today the scenario is different, entirely different, and this is the best time, in fact, when a student could celebrate the innovation. They can live the innovations, they can breathe the innovations, and in large number of institutions today, there is an environment where these innovations are nurtured, where these innovations are incubated, and not only innovations, but also the entrepreneurship, the enterprises also. I know that whenever you are going to the good institutions, I'm sure that the step we have taken setting up the innovation clubs in different institutions, it has resulted to the technology business incubators and large number of TBIs, large number of enterprises were incubated in different, institutions. And because of that, today we are the third largest ecosystem in the world after US and China. It is not that large number of companies we have, incubated, but the results are also there. Approximately 70,000, startup companies are there at this time in India, and they are progressing. At this time, 107 unicorn, including 44 in the year of 2021. And with the total valuation of 340.79 billion. So it's not a small achievement, in fact. If you see in 2022, many other companies are also there, and we are hoping that by 2025, 300 unicorn will be there, in India. Few years were the turbulent phase, in fact, and you must have heard that large number of companies, the startup companies, either changed their businesses or they have closed down. But we have came out from that phase, and because of active support of the governments, state governments, and the union government, now our incubation, system is working flawless. So it is not only the companies or generating the revenues, but they are generating the jobs also. In fact, till today, 7.67 lakh jobs were created by these Indian startups. It's a small, not a big number, but we are expecting that in years to come, this number will increase, and we'll find that 1 crore jobs will be created by these startup companies by 2030. So you see, in fact, if you see the canvas in 16-17, and if you see it 21-22, you are seeing that it is totally colored. That in last few years, by the different schemes of the governments, you see the color of the countries changed, and you are seeing that everywhere. Now they are not confined to the big cities, the metros, but large number of this country, even the districts in aspirational areas, aspirational districts, are also having the the startup companies. So if you see year-wise count, in fact, 77,000 plus startup companies are there, and I already mentioned that 767 jobs were created. So now you do have the curiosity, where are those companies? In fact, you see the canvas here actually. So Maharashtra is on the top in the job creation and in the count of recognized startups. But it is not that only in the metros. Now, the large number of other cities are also having the startup companies. In fact, these companies, are selling their products directly to the government. Earlier it was there that when you are buying something from the market, you have to go for the tendering system. But now the startup company can be registered on the GEM government e-marketplace, and they can sell directly to the government, which is an outstanding, step by the government of India. And because of that, 11,367 startups are already there on the GEM, and they have received approximately 1 lakh orders, exactly the 93,908 orders from the public entities. These entities are directly the government department. These are the institutions under the government. In our innovation index, in fact, if you see our performance in last 8 years, so the students, this slide is important for you. We are jumping every year, in fact. So something we are doing good. That's why this, jump is there. Many times the criteria of WIPO was not appropriate, and long back, in fact, in 2014, we have invited the Francis Guri, then Director General of WIPO, in one of our program, and has shown him, in fact, the Indian culture, the Indian startup, the Indian innovation ecosystem, and then he has given a very powerful statement that India is top in frugal and demand-driven innovations. So take it from me, in fact, we are good in frugal and demand-driven innovations. Many times we see the problem, we create the opportunity, and that is more important for us. So the students, many times, many of the companies try to copy the Western innovations, but they do not work in this country. We have to have our own model. We have to see our own problem. We have to create things with our own way. Our Mars mission is a wonderful example of innovations. In that, what happened, in fact, in first attempt, we have reached to the Mars, and in 1/3 of the NASA cost. So we have to see here, in fact, our budget, our the resources. So we have to do the innovations so that we could achieve maximum in the limited resources. So that is the mantra of our development, that is the mantra of our success, and that is the mantra where we could be able to celebrate our innovations in future. So now you're seeing, in fact, overall ranking in Global Innovation Index is 40, but we have to see that where we did good, where we did average, and where we are lacking. So this the slide, in fact, which you understand where we are doing better, in fact. So the market sophistication and knowledge and technology outcome, we are among the top 40 countries. In market sophistication, our position is 19th, and knowledge and technology output, it is 34. But you see, the average, the human capital and research 43, creative output 52, and institutions. So we have to give more emphasis on creating better institutions, or do better, or create better culture in the institutions. These rankings, in fact, if you compare it with previous years, definitely improved. I'm not saying, but in infrastructure and business sophistication, we have to do a lot. We are lagging behind, in fact. So these are the things, in fact, which we keep in mind. Then only our Global Innovation Index will improve. And I'm sure that in years to come, this trend will go on, and very soon, I'm very optimistic, we would be among the top 10 innovative countries of the world. So this is the India's journey as fifth largest economy of the world. You all are aware that we are the fifth largest economy. So many times we say that, okay, it's a process, will definitely improve. India is a large country and if we do have the resources. But you have to understand that where we have improved, what we did, in fact, at the time of independence, the literacy rate was just 18%. The investment rate was 9% of the GDP and the life expectancy was just 32 years. Annual population growth was 1.25% and average annual growth of the GDP was just 3%. So it is not that we have worked on the financial front. We have worked on the the health front also. We have worked on the education front also. So if we will acquire better health, we will acquire a better education, we are better aware, then only we will do the progress. So in 2005-6, the recent data I'm having, the India's literacy rate was 60%, definitely quite a lot. We have achieved from 18% to 60%, but it is not satisfactory. We have to achieve the 100% literacy. So the investment is also increased. The annual population growth rate was also increased, and the GDP was also increased, though there was some turbulence because of the corona, but definitely we came out from that bad economic situations. And I'm sure that because of our industrial development, because of our human resources, we are always cope up with that situation, and very soon we would be better. So like lots of students here are from the biotechnology sector. So I thought that let me keep few slides for the biotechnology, and I could be able to share the students where we are there in the biotechnology sector. So in biotechnology also, we are among the top 12 destination of biotechnology worldwide and third largest destination for biotechnology in Asia. Friends, in 2022, India's biotechnology industry was, 80.12 billion, and which is growing at the rate of 40%, from previous year. We are forecasting, in fact, that it would achieve 150 billion by 2025 and 300 billion by 2030, with the CAGR of 17%. There are 5,300 biotech startups which are estimated to reach 10,000 by the year of 2025. So the biotechnology industry is also not lagging behind, and lots of issues were there with the corona phase. But one positive thing of corona is the health came in the agenda of the people, in the agenda of society, and in the agenda of the governments. And because of that, lots of health related, and which include the biotech companies also jumped. There are 760 biotech established company. I'm not talking about the startup. There are the 76 established companies in the country, which are having 750 biotech products in the market. We do have 1 million skilled biotech workforce. We are the fourth in largest ethanol producer. We are fifth largest organic agriculture land worldwide. We are seventh destination for the clinical trials, and we have 9 biotechnology park plus 74 bio incubators in the country. So this data we have get from IBEF and the BIREC also. We do have 1 billion R&D expenditure in the area of biotech. So this was the Indian R&D, Indian biotech industry at a glance. So the students who are studying the biotechnology, definitely their future are, the bright. If you see the biotech is not just, DNA fingerprinting or tissue culture. Biotech is there in human science, biotech is there in animal science, biotech is there in the environment, biotech is there in. So different segments are there. So we have to understand that which segment of biotech is growing, and they have occupied how much share of the total biotech industry. If you see, still the biopharmaceutical are having the maximum. This blue one you are seeing there here. So 68% are the biopharmaceutical, in which 33% are diagnostics, 13% are therapeutics, and vaccines are 22%. 13% are the agriculture, biofertilizer, biopesticide, biostimulators. 12% are enzymes and biofuels, and 7% are bio-IT and bioservices. So services and IT, bio-IT is also one emerging area where you can find your future. If you see the vertical wise distribution of startups, in the country, so herbal tissue culture maximum, in fact, amazing. When I was trying to get this data, I was also shocked that herbal tissue culture and micropropagation is having maximum. They are 29%. Then followed by food, nutrition, and biofertilizer. Then diagnostic, biomedical devices, fermentation, 12%, and molecular biology is also 12%. So this is the Indian scenario, and where India is in advantageous condition is first is the skilled human capital. We do have large number of good institutions in the country, and because they are generating good manpower, and because of that, the skilled human capital we do have, which would be the advantage to the biotech industry in future. I'm not saying the industry, only the established industry, but I'm expecting the loads of startup companies will also come in the biotech sector. Because nowadays, wherever you are going, students are very clear. They do not want to be the job seeker. They want to be the job provider. And in many institutions, lots of biotech companies, startup companies are doing good. Second is government support. At this time, the union government is supporting generously to the startups, to the incubators, and providing all sort of infrastructure, and the financial monetary support. In addition to that, large number of angel investors and venture capitalists are also coming ahead and investing in the biotech industries. FDI policies, definitely in greenfield projects, it is 100%. In brownfield projects, it is 74%. And in other areas, the manufacturing of medical device, at this time, the government is allowing 100% FDIs. So this is a good thing for us, Now we have to understand, in fact, where the opportunities are there in the coming years, in fact. So the global life science industry is shifting from chemical-based drug to the biological and biosimulators. We are seeing here, in fact, in last 6 years, where the biophysical and biosimilars industries are there. I do have the data up to the March 19, which is there, in public domain. And also there is a rise in chronic disease incidents is driving the demand for regenerative medicines. In regenerative medicines also, we have given attentions, and India is doing good in vaccines and insulin. So India export vaccines to 150 countries, and insulin, more than 100 million diabetics by the year 2030 will be there in India. But we are not only able to cater our problem, but we are in position to export in insulin outside India also. Friends, in vaccination, I'm sure that India has learned from the past, and many companies, in fact, in addition to those large companies, are making ready themselves not only to manufacture the vaccines, but many R&D sectors to develop the vaccines. How fast now the vaccination is there, The corona has shown that now the vaccination is not 10 years, job or 20 years job. Vaccines can be, within a short time span, and it became possible in India because of our trained manpower, because of our able manpower, and because of our active leaderships in different institutions. So, some of the initiatives, in fact, I'll share that in this area, what we have taken, the National Innovation Foundation, in a startup culture, on inculcating the environment of innovations in the country. So lots of initiatives we have taken, in fact, at grassroots, and our institution is a complete value chain. It was established 20 years back, but what the world is discussing today about the value chain, the exact value chain is the NIF. In fact, it starts from scouting of the innovations. It starts for validation of innovators' claim, value addition and product development, IP protection, business development, dissemination socially, because social dissemination is also equally important as the commercial, dissemination, commercial, tech transfer, because our country is a large country and lots of issues are there in the country. In fact, like large number of, young people are moving from villages to the cities. How you will keep them in the villages? You have to provide them some opportunities, and the technology, social technology dissemination is one effective way through which they can be able to start some small ventures in their villages and can progress there itself. We again give the awards to the grassroots people, and this award, as I mentioned in my previous slides, that the President of India give the award to the grassroots people. The people in villages, they did something, they submitted to us, we incubated, we developed the product, we protected the IP, and finally to the best one, we have given awards. This is another sort of recognition. In fact, everybody think that like we are the scientists and we get the award by the hand of the president or the prime minister. Definitely the people who are not going to the schools, but they are the entrepreneur, they also have the equal right to get the similar awards, and that's why the NIF has started the award for those people who are from informal areas. This award, want to share that was started by Dr. Kalam, So when he was there in President House, he was the President of India, he set up the tradition to give this award to the unsung heroes of the society, and the tradition continued, and later all the presidents has given. Now it has become the President Award. Another initiative, in fact, we have taken, like large number of innovators are there in different sectors. It is not only the formal or informal, wherever they are, whether they are in the schools, they are in the villages, they are in anywhere actually, in the technological institutions. Why not at least 10-15 innovators be the guest of President of India? So this tradition we have started, and we have given the name of In Residence Innovation Scholar. So this was started by our former President Pranab Mukherjee ji, and the innovators, they have invited, they kept in Rashtrapati Bhavan, and now this tradition is continue. I'm sure that some of the students who are listening me will also get motivated, and they will also get the opportunity to stay in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, in fact, for a few years. So this is basically an initiative which could give the message to the country that this country doesn't, care only the innovations, but we care the innovators also. We give the respect to the innovators, and you see that how the common people, how the students are, happy here. When they go stay in Rashtrapati Bhavan, they meet with the president, they meet with others. So definitely, it's a lifetime achievement for them. For school students, like you have reached to the to the college, but the school students always, if you really want somebody innovator, you have to make them aware at very early stage. So we thought that why not a program for the school students, Then we started this Inspire Award Manak, which was earlier Inspire Awards, but now it is the revamped, scheme which NIF is executing, in which, we are giving support to 100,000 students every year. I'm repeating it, 100,000 students every year. There are 5 lakh schools in the country, and we get the ideas, 2 ideas from every school. So when it is a pool of 10 lakh ideas, 1 million ideas, then we will segregate 1 lakh ideas out of it, and we will give a support of 10,000 each to those 1 lakh students. Have you heard a program where 1 lakh students are awarded? But it is the first step. It is not just we have given 10,000 rupees and the show is over. No, the scheme will start from here. So these 10,000 rupees are so that you could be able to convert your idea into a model. We are not expecting proof of concept or prototype here. Just you explain that what your idea was there. And in every district, there is a district nodal officer. In every state, there is a state nodal officer. They will organize the exhibition there itself in district and state, and will finally select 1,000 at the state level. And those 1,000 will again get the support of 50,000 each, plus they will get the mentoring support in different technical institutions, like lots of IITs, lots of NITs, lots of other institutions, in fact, where the students have gone. They have got the support of professors, the faculties, and with that guidance, they try to develop something, in fact. And finally, the 1,000, up to 1,000 can showcase their creativity in the exhibition at national level. So last month, our exhibition was there in ITPO, Pragati Maidan. And finally, our minister has given award to the best top 60 students at Vigyan Bhavan. Now, it is not that the award is there and the scheme is over. These 60 students will get the complete incubation support. Their IP will also be protected. Their technology will be converted into the products, and these students will get the adequate exposure. They will go to different academic institutions in different countries. All these 60 students will go to Japan under Sakura scheme. Some of them will go to BRICS countries. Some of them will go to the ASEAN countries, so that the students could be able to get the adequate exposure what other students are doing. And when they are coming out with their, after their graduation, they are having the adequate exposure, and their technology is also ready. Now they can decide whether they want to be the entrepreneur or they want to transfer that technology to others. So this is the scheme, in fact, and it is world's biggest program for innovation, In fact, when we started, so wherever we are going, the people were curious, have the curiosity how we will implement that scheme, because the 10 lakh, the 1 million is not a small number, and screening of those 10 lakh, ideas is also a tough time. Can you imagine that how many experts work for the screening? Because every idea goes through, 3 eyes. At least 3 experts evaluate. So it is not 10 lakh for us. It is 30 lakh for us, actually. So large number of, experts, of different domains, they work day and night for months, and then they, evaluate, and finally we select the best 1 lakh entries, and the other process I already explained to you. But after that, when these students get support, they get the recognition. You are seeing this first photograph where the former president Dr. Kalam is interacting with a small school boy, and later other presidents. So it give another sort of motivation to the students, and when they reach to the colleges, they reach to the universities, definitely that motivation is up, and they want to do something. There are lots of students who are there from the humble areas, but now they are doing good in the studies, and many of them have successful entrepreneurs also. Some of the technologies we have transferred to the people. So like you are seeing, in fact, the confidence of these small the students, they now very confidently, after their graduation or post-graduation, when they do have their own companies, they become the successful entrepreneurs who came from those schemes, and they are so confident and explain about their technologies, their journeys to large number of people. So I'm very happy that because of these, many of the companies are progressing. See, initially I said that large number of innovations, we do the scouting and do the documentation, but we nurture only few, but large number of those innovations are there which could be available for the people, and because of that we have developed the innovation portal for the public. So we have made approximately 140,000 innovations public, which is again the largest database of innovation, which was 3 years back. It was made public by our then Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. So now you can also go to innovation.nif.org page, and you can find these innovations. You can also get the trigger for your research. You can also work on these innovations for your UG or PG dissertation. So it is open for you. Rather, the former AICT chairman has sent the letter to all the technical institutions and urge students to go through this database and get the help of these innovations, in fact, in their UG and PG programs. So like other sort of technologies, in fact, it is not the technology is there in the pharma, or technology is there in everywhere, in fact, like developing the good plant varieties, developing good machines, the veterinary products, the human health products, the nutraceutical products. So in any area, wherever your interest is there, the good opportunities at this time are there actually. So likewise, in fact, I'll share that one of our variety, which is an apple variety, it is now doing good in maximum states. Can you imagine that apple can grow in Delhi? Apple can grow in Uttar Pradesh or in Haryana? Yes, it is possible, because this variety is very successful in these states where the temperature goes very high. So at least at this time in 26 states, this variety is giving fruits, in fact, and it is multiplying like anything. So last year itself in Northeast, 250,000 saplings were planted, and hopefully very soon, apple will not be the crop of hilly regions. Apple will be the crop of the plain regions also. So likewise, lots of other technologies based on the innovations of these students, it has been transferred to different companies. There was a girl, Shalini, in fact, who just has given one idea. In fact, like you climb on the stairs, but your walker doesn't work. So what she said that why not the adjustable legs of the walker, so that these old people could be able to climb on the stairs. So then, the idea was very powerful, and some designers and engineers work on then, and finally the product is in the market. It has been, commercialized by 3 companies, in fact, including the Elimco, including the Visco, which is the largest company which is making, the devices for physically challenged people, in fact, and Shalini, who was in the school, is getting the royalty. she has got the upfront payment, and this technology is successfully helping to large number of physically challenged people or differently abled people. So in addition to getting some royalty or some other monetary benefit, she's getting the blessings of these people's in a big way. So this is some glimpse of plantation of apple variety. Can you imagine the apple variety has become so popular that even the politicians are coming ahead and planting it in their constituencies? This is the rural development minister. In fact, he is planting in Bihar. So likewise, lots of other products based on these technologies we have developed. And sometimes when we talk about the rural technology, people say that, they are the incremental technologies. But they are not incremental. In fact, many of them are the cutting edge technologies, and it can be the products of tomorrow. Like this example, I kept it here. In fact, you see that throughout country, paddy transplantation is manually. You go to Kashmir, you go to Kanyakumari, you'll find that the women in the back vending postures are planting the paddy. But some of the innovators, in fact, we have given the challenge here, in fact, so that we could be able to get a machine, and we have pooled some people have given the ideas, and we pooled the best ideas, and finally developed a machine, in fact, which can do the plantation. In fact, it can be the tractor mounted machine. So basically, based on the ideas of 3 innovators, and those 3 has become the innovator of this, the machine, and finally we have transferred it to the John Deere. John Deere, I'm mentioning it here because it is the biggest tractor manufacturing company in the world. And they do have the policy that they will not take any technology from outside their R&D, because they do have a strong R&D. So this is the first technology John Deere has taken from outside their R&D. Might be it is not the incremental technology. It is a cutting edge technology which they are seeing that in India, where the kind nursery people are not accepting in our conventional kind of nurseries, this machine will be very active, in fact, and its efficiency is approximately 93%, which is quite high. So these technologies are very, very impressive. And this is my last slide. We are, trying to create a culture where these entrepreneurs, the students or others could also get the help from the established ventures. Like we signed the MOU with Amazon, and it's not the MOU where the people can sell their technologies or the products on Amazon website. They can sell without our MOU also. But this is to empower the innovators, the students, the would-be innovators, or the would-be entrepreneurs. So if you also want to join, in fact, time to time, what we used to do, we empower, jointly we organized large number of events together, and we try to empower the innovators who are going to be the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. And this is my open invitation to all the students. If you do have any queries, if you want to join these workshops, please let us know. We would be very happy to include you also, because this is a platform where we want to empower the innovators so that they could be able to take their technologies, they could be able to get support, they could be able to do a proper packaging, they could be able to understand what different steps in commercialization of the technology. It is not just you have something and you have converted into the product. Market is ahead. In fact, you have to understand the supply chain also. You have to understand the regulatory aspects also. You have to understand the IP also. You have to understand the market also. And the market is not conventional market now. The online market and different like B2C, B2B, everything you have to understand, and you have to think then where you can pitch your product, then you would be able to successful. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening me. This is a last slide. In fact, it is my book, Innovation President, which was released by then President of India in presence of the Prime Minister, and so thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. So if you allow, we can take up some questions.
Yeah, please.
So, Vandana?
Yes, ma'am. So we have a few questions from the participants.
Okay.
So please read one by one. Vandana, first question first.
So, sir, the first question is how to do better idea evaluation so that startup success rate increases in our country?
Nowadays, the evaluation processes are there in place, and the first evaluation you have to do yourself. You have to understand that what your technology is there, and then you should be able to generate the honest feedback. Sometimes we are so possessive to our technology that we don't want to listen the good feedback of others, and that is the biggest failure. Let me give one example. In fact, Nokia was one company, in fact, which has bought the mobile in the world. What happened to Nokia? Because Nokia thought that they are the leaders. In fact, they came first, they are the leaders, and nobody can be better than them. But they have not understood the market. The companies which came later, they try to find out that what the people need. It is not just calling someone, it is not just to receiving phones. The people need more, things in the phone, in fact. Rather, nowadays you are seeing that the Apple or Samsung or these companies, they have built entire, computer in your phone. Whatever you want to do in your computer, you can do in your phone also. Some people want to listen to the music, but nowadays camera is also one important feature. So where the Nokia was lagging behind, because they didn't understand what people need. So if we are the innovator, we have to see that where we stand, which are other competitive products in the market, at what cost they are available, where I am pitching, what is my market sector. So first evaluation you have to do yourself, then you would be able to convince others. Nowadays, there is no dearth of money. People are generously coming ahead to support the good ideas, but only thing, people are unable to sell their ideas, in fact, and many times they do not do the proper exercise. And because of that, we are doing these exercises like with the Amazon or with the different, other, companies, so that these students could be able to understand about their technologies.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, what are still the bottlenecks for initiating the biotech startups in India?
I would say that regulatory clearances are one bottleneck, but definitely, every day the discussions are happening on that. Biotech is one area, in fact, particularly when you are going for the human beings, the regulatory clearances takes more than the desired times. Sometimes the data generation is also one area, and the investment. But there are many areas like the food, where FSSI give very fast approval, agriculture, the veterinary, where the biotechnology industry can grow with a faster rate, tissue culture, the environment, but only in human health, related biotech, some more time is required in regulatory clearances. At this time, what you talk about the general bottleneck is not there actually. Bottleneck is not there, in fact. Earlier, the awareness was not there. Now the awareness is there. The students are motivated. The youngsters are motivated, and they are setting up the companies, in fact. So we should not think and we should not keep it in our mind that there are bottlenecks and we cannot do. Definitely, it is we who will do. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And so there's one more question. Apart from Manak, do we have any other financial incubators for the budding entrepreneurs of our country?
A large number of incubators are there. In fact, in biotechnology, you go to BIRAC's website, 78 plus incubators they have set up throughout country, and they are supporting the biotechnology, enterprises. So students can get the benefit of those incubators. In fact, rather you should, I would suggest you to set up one bio incubator in your institutions also. You should approach to BIRAC. I'm sure that they would be very happy to give one incubator to you also.
Okay, sir, one more. How do one encourage innovation in their organization in this competitive era?
Definitely, innovation is the way of success for tomorrow. If you see large number of companies, in fact, they are also, changing their portfolios every day, and they're bringing innovations not only in their product but in their culture also. So definitely, innovation is required in the institutions also. So what I can suggest, like you are doing this webinar today, you should also, showcase some of the success stories might be of other students of other institutions. You should also motivate students sending to they should attend some of the exhibitions where, other students are showcasing, their innovative ideas. You should also share some of the success stories of entrepreneurs also, then students will definitely get motivated, and they will also try to do something actually.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to ask any of the participants, if they have any of the questions, they can ask sir right now. If anybody wants to ask anything.
So we have a question, Vandana. Can you please read?
Yes, ma'am. From where we can get information about the workshops organized by your institute?
What you can do, in fact, you can share my email ID to the participants, and what I'll do, in fact, I'll connect you to the technology business incubator people. In fact, they will include you also, and they will update you time to time. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah. And Vandana, I would also share my presentation with you. In fact, because there are lots of data in my presentation, if you want to share it with the participants, you can share with them also.
Sure, sir. Definitely. Thank you, sir. So we don't have any more questions, do we? So thank you, sir, for taking out time from your such busy schedule and enlightening us with some essential data points, such as from districts to metropolitan cities. We have more than 77,000 startups in India. And we have more than... our presence is all around the world in terms of our startups. Then the initiative of Manak, as described by you, was quite encouraging and nurturing for our young youth. Innovation in the field of agriculture and making apple a crop of plain region is totally a breakthrough technology. Your knowledge illuminating us with the future prospects of potential startups was totally great, and I'm sure that a few amongst us might take that initial step to establish a business in future. We're obliged to have such an informative and motivating session from you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
There's one information that all the participants are supposed to fill the feedback form after the session, both the sessions. So the first one is circulated right now. So please fill it, everybody.
Ma'am, from where we can get the feedback from?
The link has been shared in the chat box itself, Pallavi.
Okay,
So,
we will definitely.
good morning, Professor Abha, Rishi. Madam, we cannot hear you. I request the students please do not turn on your cameras. That might create disturbance. Ma'am, I cannot hear you. I don't know about the others.
We cannot hear her.
Yeah. Okay, just a moment, please.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
So there seems to be some issue with my laptop. So what I'm going to do is, I will change the laptop and then join back in a few minutes.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Right.
So I request the students not to exit the meeting. We'll start with the next session soon. So by the time I request all of you to please fill up the feedback form that has been shared in the chat box. Yes, so the second speaker is with us now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Great. So yeah, I was listening to Mr. Vipin when he was talking about the various things in the National Innovation Foundation. Yeah, so I'm ready. Whenever you're.
Just a moment, Vandana.
Yes, ma'am. Let's have a formal introduction.
Yes, then we can start, ma'am. Yeah.
So now we have with us Professor Abha Rishi, who is CEO of Atal Incubation Center, Birla Institute of Management and Technology, Noida. She's one of the few Indians to hold both a Chevening and a Fulbright scholarship. Along with that, she has been conferred numerous accolades, including the Silver Award in the Indian Management Conclave, presented to her by Sri Pranav Mukherjee, ex-President of India, and GDN Japanese Award for Outstanding Research in Development Work. Within a span of only 4.5 years, her team took AIC from 0 to 220 incubatees with funding of nearly $2 million. And today, she'll be talking about innovation and startup ecosystem in India. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vandana, and thank you for that nice introduction. It's a delight being here. And as they say, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So let me share my presentation with you. Just give me a minute while I add that on. Thank you. So I will have to thank my team member Kapil, who kind of helped me when it comes to this kind of technical glitches. Thank you. So yeah, audible, visible, everything. Can I have somebody say yes or no, because I'm not able to see someone?
Yes.
sir.
Great. So starting off with today's talk, I'm going to be like more talking to the students who are out here, because they are the ones who need this kind of information and also the understanding of what they can do. See, Mr. Vipin gave you the details of what is there in the landscape, the understanding of what the Indian scenario is. I had also created a lot of slides on that, but then after listening to him, I changed quite a few of my slides. So I'm going to pick up only those things which he has not touched upon. Plus, I'm going to be talking about the practical applications of what you have just seen and heard. Okay? So this was my introduction, which Vandana did a great job of. But one of the things that I'd like to mention out here is that for me, entrepreneurship and innovation is not just a job. For me, it's a passion. And I have mentored more than 2,000 student and women entrepreneurs across the country. So anytime that anybody faces any issues, you can reach out to me or my team, and we are more than happy to help you on that. So let's start with the Indian landscape, just giving you a background of what we have, and then we'll go on ahead. So you've heard Mr. Vipin talk about the things that India has, and there are a few more statistics that I thought let me bring to the table. So you know that today India is the third largest when it comes to GDP as in PPP. So, and the growth rate is also quite high. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the world. And we have a great foreign reserve with us. Besides this, one of the things that India has going for it is that it has got a big network of roads and rails. Infrastructure is important. I mean, people think that just having an idea or having those kind of viability things are good, but no, you need to have an infrastructure to support it. You need to have both the hard as well as the soft infrastructure. So having these kind of networks really helps, because when you're moving your materials, the logistics which come into play, you need them, right? And we have a great growing population. What was supposed to be one of India's biggest weaknesses, its growing population, is today one of its best strengths. We have a good urban population which is educated and which understands English. See, I'm right now talking to you in English. If I was talking to somebody in Kerala or Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, even then English is a great language to communicate. Unfortunately, even now, Hindi is not that well understood in many places. It's of course understood well in the north of India, but in the south of India, it's not. And if we have to keep India together, we have to have a common language. And as of now, we have a good growing population, young population, which understands English very well. And then, of course, coming on to the your age group population, which is the best when we talk about the growth of the country. So 767 million people between the age group of 15 to 64, and a huge market, which is why we have the world's attention. I mean, everybody is looking towards India now, and they're willing to give their technologies, they're willing to share their know-how, only because they see India as a huge market. But let's use it to our best faith, okay? And along with that, we have our internet, which has got 462 million and growing as we speak. I think by the time I finish 1 hour of my talk with you, we would have added on probably another 10,000 people who have joined the internet, right? And as the statistics go, we are the second largest in the world population having internet users. Yeah. So unparalleled opportunities are out there. We have a huge consumer market, substantial GDP growth, and like I said before, the youngest nation with an average age of 29 years, upward mobility. More and more people are being added to the middle class, and 150 million will be added more. So that's the kind of things which you have going for India. And 99% is the literacy rate that the government is aiming for by the end of 2025. And there's a lot of schemes which are there. Talk about banking, 241 million accounts have been opened. And the best part of it is, India used to be talked about as a country which was difficult to have a business. But in the last 4 years, more than 1,000 plus laws have been repealed to reduce the red tape. Like when I talk 1994, when I started my career in the field of international trade and started traveling across the world, it required 71 different licenses to start a venture. 71 different licenses. Today, it's reduced to less than 10. And the time taken, earlier, it used to take around 7 to 9 months to start a venture. And today, you go online, within 24 hours, if you have the right documents with you, you can open up your venture. That's the kind of difference that has been made. So, again,
to disturb you, ma'am, in between, but the slides are not moving. So,
okay.
Yeah, slides are not moving. We are still on the first slide.
Let me try again. I'll just put it again. Seems like technology is against me today. Are you able to see it?
Yes, now it is visible.
The new one?
Yes, the slide is visible.
Its slides are moving now?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So this was the slide that I had started off with, which talked about the different advantages that India has. Then I went on to talk about the different opportunities which are there. And these are the numbers which I had talked about. And this is a slide that I was going to talk about. So, seen the 3 slides? Right. So coming on to income levels, again, without money, no matter what you make, what you create, you will not find a market. You will not find people to buy it. So that's again on the increase for us in India. So income levels are expected to triple by 2025. And this is despite the fact that we had the pandemic. Things are getting back to normal and they're actually exceeding what was that before the pandemic happened. So yes. And then 2/3 of the consumption growth will be accounted for by the urban markets. So again, that's a good thing for people who are trying to come out with new ideas, new products, innovation which is happening out there. And the working population is also set to increase by 33% to reach 1.14 billion. Again, not a small number. It's a huge, huge number. If you look at it, probably we have the strength of more than all the European Union combined together, plus add on a few more countries from the Latin America. That's the kind of strength that we have when we talk about the working population itself. Forget the entire population. The working population itself is as big as that. Plus, of course, it's a young nation. We had talked about 29 years, and it's also that by 2050 also, will have an average median age of only 37.3. That means not only is the market growing, but we are going to have a population which will be buying the things over a long period of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, the students out there, I'm saying that if you have any ideas, this is the right time to start thinking about putting it into action. And I'll talk about how you can go about it. So now you're seeing the why of it, why you should think about it. So ease of doing business, it's been up 111 places, environmental clearance, all those things that you need to really start your venture and go ahead is being created by the government. So these are some of the things which really helps when it comes to international trade. You're not just thinking about India as a market, but even across the globe, so many things have happened which can help you when you talk about your own product. So single window clearance, customs, you have 24/7 customs clearance, at different ports, air cargos, complexes. All these things have actually made life easy for the ventures to really grow. Again, a few statistics.
Ma'am, still we are on the advantage area slide.
I don't know what's happening. Let me see if I can show you the PDF one. Maybe because the slides are heavy.
Yeah, slides are not moving. Still we are on the advantage area slide.
Just a second. So instead of the PPT, let me see if I can share the PDF of it, because that might, like I said, because there are a lot of photographs out there. Probably that's the reason why the slide is heavy. Just a second, let me see. Give me a minute, huh? Just a minute. Just let me see. Okay. Okay, so let me see if the slides are moving now.
Switch to this tab. Click on displays. Now it's on.
Is it moving now?
Yes, now the slides are moving.
Perfect, perfect. I've switched to a PDF format of my PPT. I guess now it should be easier now. Hopefully. Technology as this is sometimes has its own ways. I just gave a presentation yesterday on a similar topic and it went perfectly fine. Today, like I said, it happens. That's cool. So yeah, I was talking about these kind of things like single window clearance, customs, environmental clearance not required for many of the white industries and the green industries. And this is what the government is doing. So first among the top 10 FDI destinations, some of these things you should take a snapshot and then kind of check it out because it will help you to understand what the country is doing and how it has been growing in the last 7 to 8 years. And you'll see how the removal of many laws and the coming in of the beautiful infrastructure, both the soft and the hard infrastructure, has really created a radical change in the way ventures are created. I mean, earlier we used to talk about traditional type of industries coming up, manufacturing industries, and service industries were there a little bit and growing. But now the shift has been into more tech industry. So whether it is biotechnology or it's deep tech, AI based, all those things, those are the ventures which are really growing fast. So think about it. And like I said, we have jumped up 15 places on the Global Innovation Index. That's something which we should not take very lightly. We were stagnant at 71 and between like 71 and 80 in the Global Innovation Index for quite a long time. But in the last few years, we have jumped many places, and it's a quantum increase if you look at it. So, yeah. That was about what I wanted to talk to you about, the things which the government has given and created when it comes to new venture creation, helping in innovation and other things. Now I want to talk to you about the entrepreneurship landscape which is there. I don't know how many of you have seen this particular thing about the top 20 startup ecosystems across the globe, but Bangalore, and let me tell you that Delhi and Hyderabad are also pushing into this. So we are out there, and very soon we'll probably have all these three cities in the top 20 startup ecosystems across the globe. And India is becoming a hub of innovation. You know, like there are 4 factors which is really pushing the India's startup ecosystem. So we have innovation happening and lots of policy interventions by the government. We have incubators out there. 5 years ago, the total number of incubators in the country was just 216. Today, 5 years later, the number of incubators has really blossomed, and we have around 1,346 incubators across the country. Multiple of 5. I mean, that's huge, right? And this number again is increasing as the days go by. We have AICTE, we have many of the ministries actually pushing and creating incubators. So this is good news for you guys, and especially the students, because right from the time that you have an idea, you can actually get the support of an incubator to make your idea into a real venture. And funding, it's available. Actually, we have a panel of around 200 plus investors with us, and many of them tell us that the money is there, but they're not getting real good ideas to fund. So opportunities, like I said, is available for you. The only thing is you have to know where to reach out, right? And the industry is also willing to collaborate and co-create. There are a lot of pilot programs which are run by the industry. There are a lot of sandbox programs which are run by many incubators like us, along with the industry, which look at the challenges that an industry has, tries to find solutions, and then these solutions are sold at pretty good for good money. And they actually look at these ventures who can kind of plug and play into their processes, right? So these 4 factors are leading to things which, when it comes to the India startup ecosystem, lots of jobs created, a lot of good things happening. This has already been talked about by Mr. Vipin. But let me tell you, in the last 1 year, we have had quite a number of unicorns being added up there. Can you identify some of these names out there? Digit, Misho, Innovator, Inframarket, 5-Star, Cred. These are just some of the names in the Indian startup unicorns in 2021. And let me tell you, in May 2022, we touched 100 unicorns. And as of now, the statistics say that 1 out of any 10 unicorns in the globe comes out of India. So 1 out of any 10 unicorns in the globe comes out of India. Imagine that. And just a few years ago, we were told that India is one of the best countries when it comes to copying stuff. No, my dear, we have changed a lot. We have become innovators. We are creating new things that the world wants. And that's with the help of the government. And like I said, many of the schemes that not only the government, but even the private parties are putting in a lot of money, right? So again, if we talk about the Indian startup ecosystem, 21% of the Indian startups are focused on markets overseas. I'll tell you why I'm talking about this, because when we talk about incubators and how they are helping, these statistics will help you in understanding what the incubators are doing. So these are again about the unicorns. Like I said, take a note of this, different areas that the unicorns are working on, and you'll see that media and entertainment, fitness and wellness. So we have a huge country and we have a huge middle class now thinking about fitness and wellness, especially after the pandemic. And many of the unicorns are coming up in this area. So fitness and wellness and biotech can really play a beautiful role when it comes to the kind of preventive systems which are required for fitness, right? So people would be happier looking at technologies which can help them from getting sick. So preventive kind of technologies which are there. Then of course EdTech, huge market, inclusive market. We now have EdTech really reaching out to the rural areas and to places where earlier formal education used to be an issue. But now even the children in the remotest of rural areas are getting a good education thanks to EdTech. Advertising and marketing, automotives, enterprise tech is a new area which has come up quite a bit and is really growing by leaps and bounds. BFSI, retail tech, and of course you can see some of the names out here which are there, Nika, Techion, Razorpay. These are names which are household names. And I'm quite sure some of you might have bought something from these different names that I'm seeing out here. Then there's another statistic. India added the second highest number of unicorns in 2020 after USA. The world has always looked up to USA as one of the fastest growing countries when it comes to innovation and technology, but India is no way behind. We are second when it comes to the highest number of unicorns in being added on. And also, 2020 was a good year for us. 2021 has been even been better. But then in 2020, India added the most number of unicorns in a calendar year ever. So that was a time that Paytm turned into a unicorn. We had InMobi, we had a lot of others also growing into it. And this is the list of Indian unicorns. So let's see how many of them actually become unicorns. Some of them already have, like Razorpay and others. So this list of Indian unicorns you see, and this huge list. So we have people out there in the pipeline going to become unicorns very soon. Yes, this is where I get to you. So you've had an understanding of how the landscape works and how the things are there, like everything is growing, good opportunities, a lot of good stuff out there. But this is the time that you need to think about what you want to do ahead. There's a time for student entrepreneurship. There's a lot of support systems which are there when it comes to student entrepreneurship. And a lot of policies are also being created for students. So the government is also encouraging entrepreneurship. Different ministries are taking a lot of focus into student entrepreneurs. You are a force to be reckoned with. Students can be the change makers for any country. And that's why the government has really started looking at you. See, there is an issue when it comes to employment. Although the number of ventures have been increasing, the big industries have not been able to increase the number of jobs that they're able to create. They're creating jobs year on year, but they're not able to match up with the way that the number of graduates or postgraduates are coming out of the universities. So there is a mismatch out there. It's quite possible that many of you will not get the kind of jobs that you would like to have. So what happens to you? You're nowhere less than anybody. So the government has created this kind of thing so that if you have the right kind of talent, if you have the right kind of things, there's a lot of support for you to start your own ventures. And immense support. I'll talk about it later. So these are some of the things which are coming up. Digital India Mission, there's a lot of funding under that. Startup India, Fit India Movement, Skill India, Make in India. All these ones have given a lot of funding. And you must have read about some of these also, like the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. So we, under our incubator, we also have got quite a bit of the money for giving to the entrepreneurs who are there, the people who have the good ideas and who want to start the new ventures. So there's something called the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. Under that, up to 20 lakhs is given to a good idea which wants to turn its idea into a prototype or a venture, and of course, finally into a venture. So 20 lakhs is given if that idea is good, there is validity to that idea, and if you want to create that prototype. And from 20 to 50 lakhs is given if you already have a venture and you have seen that the market testing of your idea has happened and the prototype has been created. Up to 50 lakhs funding is given in the form of CCDs. So up to 20 lakhs you receive as grants, and from 20 to 50 lakhs you receive as CCDs. For a beginner, I think that's pretty good, because you can really work out without having to put in your own money, right? And then of course you have the venture capital assistance scheme, the Startup India, the Stand Up India for financing for SC/STs and women entrepreneurs. Actually, women, the girls have it really good. There are quite a few schemes which have been started and have got a specific percentage set aside for women. Right now, we have only 14% of the entire ventures which are created by women. Only 14% is there. But the government is really pushing that if girls want to do something, stand up, ask for it. The money is there, right? Those who are interested in ventures, starting your own ventures, and those who have good ideas, just make sure that you click the ones that I'm talking about. So take screenshots, because these are some of the funds which are available for you. I will not be going through the entire details because I only have another half an hour left with you. So take the screenshots. I'll just give you the names. So Startup India program, Corpus Fund of 10,000 crores, right? That's there for startups and for innovation. 10% of this 10,000 crores is reserved for women-led startups. So think about it and apply for it if you want to. How do you apply for the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme? You apply for it through the different incubators which are there. Udyam Sakhi by MSME. MSME again has a lot of funding when it comes to the startups, and it also has a lot of funding for specifically for women. So Udyam Sakhi is the one which is created only for girls. So it caters to the need of around 8 million Indian women. And it's a network for nurturing social entrepreneurship. So if you have an idea which you think can create a social impact more than the commercial impact, this is the one for you. Then Stand Up India scheme, again by MSME. In this, women entrepreneurs and other entrepreneurs, of course, get loans from 10 lakhs to 1 crore, right? The women entrepreneurs get a better percentage when it comes to the loans. So 0.5 is out of the entire percentage, 0.5 is less for women. So when you're taking a loan of around 1 crore, even 0.5 matters. So that's there. And in case of a non-individual enterprise, that means if you are partners or if you have created a private limited company, the only thing is that 51% of the share capital and controlling stake should be of the women. So it's time for you to start thinking about ventures, girls. And this scheme focuses only on the SC/ST and women entrepreneurs. But there is other one called Stand Up Mitra, and there are a lot of other schemes by MSME which also gives money to the men and boys. Then we have the CGTMSE. So again, it's a collateral-free fund which is there. Normally, what happens when you go to a banker and ask for a loan, the first thing that they do is they ask who's going to stand guarantee. How much money do you have? Now, as a student, that means you'll have to either kind of get your parents on board, or you have to get somebody else who is there, who will be willing to stand guarantee for you and all those things. Take away that kind of a pressure. This particular scheme was created called the CGTMSE, or the Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. So here the idea is that money is given without collateral. So you as a student, you don't have any collateral. Normally students don't have collateral in their own name. Collateral means that you should have some bank accounts, or you should have some land, or you should have some house, physical assets which are created, right? So, or you can also think about FDs which are there in your name. But most students don't have these kind of things. So for them, the center created this particular scheme of credit guarantee fund trust for micro and small enterprises. Okay. Then we have cluster development program. Again, this is on a slightly higher level. So if you are able to create a consortium where you have a lot of enterprises working in the same sort of solution, trying to work at the same set of challenges, then again you get this money. It's called the cluster development program, but this is not directly available to the ventures themselves, so not directly available to the entrepreneurs, but this is more for an institution. So if DTU wants to go in for this, then they can go for it. So the Department of Biotechnology can think about going in for these kind of programs and getting the funding for it. Sfurti, of course, when you talk about all these things, one little percentage also has to go in for the regeneration of traditional industries. So the idea is to give them tech, create a lot of other things. So 25 lakhs for soft interventions, which is 100% of the scheme funding. For hard interventions, that means creating physical assets and all those things, you get up to 75%. And a lot of money is there, like I said. I mean, if you want to create a heritage cluster, then you get something like 8 crores. That's a level of money and funding which is available for there. Mudra Yojana, again, this is for smaller ones, smaller units. And each of the banks which are there, they have financing schemes. So think about the Cent Kalyan scheme by the Central Bank of India, Mahila Udyami scheme by Punjab National Bank, Sri Shakti package by SBI. Name any nationalized bank, they have created, or rather they have been pushed into creating a scheme which is there for entrepreneurs, right? So if you have an innovative idea, if you have that kind of thing get into an incubator first, create the prototype, get the funding from the incubators or through the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, and then go in for financing by the banks. So at each level, funding is available, provided, of course, like I said, you have a good innovative idea. And these are some of the other schemes which are there. Oriental, and this for the girls. I mean, like I said, my own passion is women entrepreneurs. And I have a soft spot for the girls out there. I mean, they have their own level of struggles, which the society kind of creates for them. So my passion has been to always to help them and give a hand to them to support and grow. So a lot of schemes, but I'd like to go ahead and talk about a few other things. So like I said, check into any bank, and especially the ones that I talked about, like the single window scheme by SIDBI, the Sfurti scheme, and these schemes which are there, the composite loan schemes, you can apply through the banks. All this stuff is there. And this is besides the angel investors and the venture capitalists who are out there. So venture capitalists, of course, come in a little later, but there are a lot of angel investors out there. So whether it's the Delhi Angel Network, whether it's the Chennai Angel Network, whether it's the Indian Angel Network, I mean, nowadays, I mean, every big city and state has got an angel network to help budding entrepreneurs. Then these are some of the ones which are taken up by the NSTEDB, that's the DST. I don't know whether DTU or your department has got funding from DST, but if not, maybe your faculty and your management can give it a try. Of course, you have the Atal Incubation Centers. They're doing a great job across the country. There have been 68 approved centers, which will soon become 101 Atal Incubation Centers. And this is promoted by Niti Aayog with a very focused agenda of creating ventures in the country. I mean, we reach out to many areas where the earlier schemes did not even reach out to. So DST was more or less focused on engineering colleges and other things, but the AICs, most of them are sector agnostic. Then, of course, we have the MSME, MeitY. MeitY has come out with a scheme called Samrid scheme, which is for acceleration. So if you know somebody who has a good venture which is innovative and who really wants to accelerate, they can think about the MeitY scheme of Samrid. So 40 lakhs is given for each venture by the ministry. 40 lakhs, and the incubators or the organizations who work along with them, they get you matching funding from other venture capitalists or angel investors. So we also have the scheme. So we just recently selected 12 ventures. So they'll be getting 40 lakhs from the ministry each, 40 lakhs each, and then we'll be getting them matching funding through our panel of investors. So then BIRAC, of course, I'm quite sure most of you know about the BIRAC scheme which is there. This is something that you should really look at. The big scheme which is there and the one which is under the BIRAC one. Okay, so see, this is what I said. I mean, there's a number of schemes out there, which if you start looking at it, it's there. But the only point is that you have to get a good innovative idea, and then the rest of the world is yours. So, I mean, you forget about biotechnology. There are things like the gaming and animation ones, which are there for people who are interested in that area. So whether you think tactile graphics or gaming, animation, medical tech, fintech and everything, normally everybody talks about. But even for other areas, there are specified centers of excellence. And most of them actually work in a network. So we are all connected in many ways. So these are some of the BIRAC schemes that I was talking about. Big bioignition grant, 50 lakhs. 50 lakh. Good idea ho? तो पैसे है यहाँ पे इंडिया में, ठीक है? The only thing is you have to make sure that you have a good idea and you get the validation. I think these are a lot of schemes which are out there. So you've got the idea what is available, right? And NSTEDB, more than funding the ventures, they also give something called the Nidhi Entrepreneur in Residence. That means you can go stay with them. जो फंडिंग ग्रांट का मिलता है वो मिलता ही है. उसके अलावा you also get paid 30,000 rupees monthly to be a entrepreneur in residence. ठीक है? So this Nidhi AIR is run by a lot of incubators, and like I said, always available for you if you have the right kind of ideas. Nidhi Prayas hai, Nidhi Accelerator hai, Nidhi Center of Excellence, of course, is for institutional ones. That's for you as people. Acha, ye to hua government. Now when we talk about non-governmental ones which are available here in India. So we have some schemes which have been run by AWE, that is the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs in Washington. It is run through the American Embassy. Okay? So they also select women entrepreneurs, and they also give them funding, and they also give them support so that they can grow their ventures. United Nations ka women scheme, UN women scheme करके एक है, where a lot of corporates are funding through the CSR thing, and Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Program. I've myself handled this particular program, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Program. It's run across 38 countries, and they train 10,000 women across the globe, and they create a network of these people. And of course, funding is given to the best of them. And there's so many of them. Boeing has come out with that. Rolls-Royce has come out with that. I mean, name it. A lot of them have really created a lot of schemes for women, for entrepreneurs, not just women entrepreneurs. So how can we as incubators help? I don't know if DTU has got an incubator, but I'm quite sure you must be having. So a student having an idea, the first question comes in like, okay, I have this idea. Now what do I do with it? How can I go ahead and make it into a venture? So the first thing that you need to do is identify an incubator who is near you and who is working in the same area that you really want to go ahead in. So if it's biotech based, then you need to find a biotech or a sector agnostic incubator. So what do these incubators do? They help you in idea validation. That means they make you do your market research. They help you understand whether your idea is going to really take off. They help you in sector analysis. They help you understand whether it's a sunshine sector or a sunrise sector, or is it like a sector which is not really going to grow. So even if you have a good idea, sector agar grow nahi kar raha hai, doesn't make any sense going in for that. They help you find a team. So normally जो investors है वो one founder teams को इतना अच्छे से नहीं देखते हैं. They prefer to have two at least founders out there. So if you don't have a co-founder, then what do you do? So incubators help you in finding your own co-founders, helping you in find your team. Funds का जो है prototype funding है, ideation funding है, seed funding है, angel funding है, venture funding है, फिर technology support है जिसमें you have technology validation and also the architecture for that particular idea that you might have. They help you find out your first target audience. So business modeling, market finance, market access, all these things are given by the incubator. So I mean, let me tell you about how we help in all these things. जैसे हमारा जो है, our focus, I mean, we are basically a sector agnostic one, but we still have a focus on a few areas which are dealing with so agriculture is agri-tech, fintech, FMCG, green tech, edtech, and a few others which come into medtech. So green tech, we have had quite a few of the people who have approached us have had biotechnology experience and biotechnology background. So this is one of the areas that you can think about. These, so we have had 220 plus incubatees with us. And these incubatees have created 1100 plus jobs. And they've also got awards, 28 awards. And we have conducted more than like 177 events, 358 workshops. And these guys have also raised a lot of funds. So 1.34 million. That means around 11 crores of funding has also been raised for these incubatees. So like I was saying, you as students, how do you gain from the incubators? Innovation jo hai, comes from an individual's mind, which is then validated by the other agencies. So for us, we have created 4 different programs depending on which level you are. So normally हमारे पास जो students आते हैं वो आते हैं खोज के level पे. That is a discovery time. That whether what you have as an idea is really good and whether it has got market validation or not. So we help you go through that program. It's a training program which is completely online and it's completely free. We do not charge anything from our incubatees except in the last one, which is उड़ान. तो खोज में हम बिल्कुल पैसे नहीं लेते हैं क्योंकि हमारा ये सोचना है कि that as a student, not many students have got the money to pay for such kind of things. And we want to find out the best people out there who could be the next unicorn. और आज की डेट में तो मेरी टीम जो है doesn't even talk about unicorns. It talks about decacons and hectacons. So that's the level of thought process which is going on. So खोज में we try to discover if you have that one idea which can really transform things, right? Then of course next level hand holding होता है प्रारंभ में जिसमें आप convert करते हो अपने idea से प्रोटोटाइप में, फिर गुरुकुल में जाते हो जहाँ पे आप प्रोटोटाइप you take it to the market and then उड़ान which is acceleration and then you grow to the next level. So these are the 4 programs that we have for people who are interested in starting their own ventures. और हमारी तरफ से क्या मिलता है, हम लोग देते हैं 1.34 million worth of free benefits. That means more than 10 crores worth of free benefits is given to our incubators. So how have we done that? So it's a combination of things that we have got from the 100 plus partners that we have. So there's many of the students who are into tech-based products, उनको AWS credits की जरूरत पड़ती है. So we have tied up with AWS to get more than like $50,000 worth of free credits. Then we have startup with IBM. बहुत सारे technologies उनको मिलते हैं. Zendesk startups. So each of these people, each of these partners have brought in something, and we are able to offer our students, our incubatees, something like 10 plus crores worth of free benefits. And this number keeps on increasing. Depending, like when we keep bringing in more and more partners, this number keeps on increasing. और ये हम लोग free देते हैं. We don't charge for it. And of course, आपने grow कर लिया एक level पे, तो we have 60 international partners, academic partners, जिनके through आप international market access की बात कर सकते हैं. So we have, just like you have student exchange programs, We also have incubating exchange programs. Then these are some of our national partners. These are some of our startups who have been taken up under various things. They have been recognized. So health tech mein, ed tech mein, they have received recognition. So I don't know how many of you recognize Subir Singh, who is standing next to the lady. So his first investment was in our incubator, in one of our incubatees. And so these young boys, the boy and the girl, they were the ones who started this venture, and they have gone up to a lot of, they've gone up to Series A funding now. So uske baad, trucking community. So ours is, like I said, a sector agnostic. So for us, a lot of things, a lot of sectors we take into consideration. Deep tech se leke hum log traditional sectors tak mein hum log kaam karte hain. But again, it all depends on how good the idea is. Because we only have 10% selection rate. So we are very, very stringent in our selection. And that's the reason, while the entire world talks about 8 out of 10 startups failing, we talk about 76% success rate. That means हमारे पास जितने भी incubators आते हैं, 76% of them have succeeded despite the pandemic. So that's how we go, and this is where we are. So if anybody wants to take a snapshot of this, you're most welcome. And with that, I bring my presentation to a close. We have 10 minutes. I'd like to take up questions now, if you are willing. So let me close the presentation. And questions. Ask me anything.
Ma'am, can we get the presentation?
Bilkul mil jayega, no problems.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Ma'am, we have questions for you now.
Sure, great. So I think Noel is asking about, could you explain a bit more about Coach? Definitely, Noel. So in Coach, what we have, we open up this program once every 3 months. You're supposed, and there's a link to it in which you're supposed to talk about your idea and about your background. Because we believe that if you have the right kind of background, you can create anything. So when you're thinking about creating a nuclear missile, we would hope that you have a background in nuclear science. So similarly, if you're talking about something which has to deal with mining, we look at your background. So your background and your idea, these are the only 2 things that we really look at. And then you also see that if you have done any kind of market research, but that's the secondary level which comes in. The first level is the focus on your idea and your background. So if you have something which is synchronizing with that, we're more than happy to look at it. But like I said, our selection rate is usually less than 10% because we want to make sure that you're really serious about it. So if you have a good idea, we want to see the commitment. So a 1 month training happens virtually. So because we have experts coming in from across not only the country, but from other countries also. So it's all held online, and they help you validate your idea. They help you in looking at the market research which is required, so that by the time you finish this particular program of Coach, you're ready to go to the next level of creating a prototype. And like I said, हम लोग इसमें बिल्कुल पैसा नहीं लेते हैं. We don't charge a single penny. So have I answered your question, Noel? Welcome. So any other questions?
So we have more questions, ma'am. The first one is, are startups just technology-based companies because they're the only ones that come to limelight?
No, but they are the ones which grow faster. So traditional startups take a longer time to really reach to that level where they can attract the attention of on a national level. But startups can be non-tech also, and they can also be tech. But even in non-tech, what we suggest to them is that add on a tech dimension, like when you're talking about marketing or promotion, because that helps in a bigger outreach. All of you know that Facebook pay, LinkedIn pay, Twitter pay, Instagram pay, it's much easier to kind of reach out to a wider audience. So even if it's that, I won't call platforms as really tech, but it helps in that kind of dimension. So frankly speaking, it doesn't matter whether it is just tech or whether it is non-tech. A good idea can always create a change, and it can always withstand and sustain. So does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
There's more, ma'am.
Sure. Go ahead.
Somebody has just pinged over here, ma'am. As you just mentioned, 10% acceptance rate. Does
Yes.
that count for coach too?
Yes. So it usually ranges between 10 to 11%. It doesn't usually go beyond that. But the thing is that the 90% who don't get selected, we hold a session for them. Of course, we don't do it on an individual basis because we receive a lot of applications. But for the 90% who are not selected, we take them through a session which tells them that what are the reasons why most ideas usually get rejected. So there's a session which is properly taken, and I've seen that many of the ones who failed earlier, they also reapply after having gone through that session. And some of them do get selected because they have rectified their mistakes. And that's what we're interested in. People who can listen, understand, and rectify what needs to be done. Right? Yeah.
Ma'am, another question. Will investments continue to be a challenge as they have been after COVID era?
Frankly speaking, no. I have a lot of friends who are investors, and like I said before, if your idea is good, if there is a potential for growth, if there is a market for it, then no, there is no issue with funding. And like I said, it's not just the angel investors or about the private sector funding. You can also look at the government funding. There are so many grants which are available. Private investors jab aata hai, so they're going to take a share of equity. They are not there for what do you call, just being there. I mean, they want their own money back. So जो private investor है वो तो अपना equity लेगा, but there's a lot of government funding which is available. And let me tell you, for a good idea, for a good venture, investment is not a problem at all. बहुत पैसा है, but वही, you have to make sure that you actually fit into what is required. क्योंकि हर investor का अपना एक investment thesis hota hai. So people who are investing in automobiles or people who are investing in say green energy are not going to invest in health and pharma. So if you just send across your venture idea to 100 different venture capitalists, they will not respond back to you. They prefer to come through entities like us, whom they know we have tried, tested, and then put these guys in front of them. So that's what.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question for you is, how can we measure the social impact and how is the value defined for social innovation challenges, especially from the perspective of incubators?
Social impact can be in many ways. That's actually a question for a completely different session altogether. Social impact ke upar, there's a 1 hour session which normally it's taken. So, but in briefly, what I'll say is, social impact can be whether are you creating a difference in say somebody's lives, and if so, how many lives have you impacted? So I'll let me talk to you like just a social impact. May you talk about edtech for rural areas. So how many villages have you been able to get on board your venture? How many rural students have you been able to bring onto your venture? How many of them have actually passed the courses? How many of them have been able to do certain, pass certain exams? So that kind of impact is looked into. And social impact ke liye kya hai? Jo funding hai, that's different. So we have social impact venture funding. So there the percentage of, the interest rate which is charged is very less. It's just 1 or 2%. And there is also a lot of social impact funding which happens through many foundations. But social impact, as I said, the impact is calculated in different ways. So it depends on the area that you're working on. And there is a formula for it. Okay? But just the area mein hai, uske basis pe wo calculation hota hai. So like I said, whether it's environmental impact that you're talking about, human impact that you're talking about societal impact that you're talking about, तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. So I think this person who asked this question can maybe do a quick Google search, and there are a few very good books on social impact. Maybe you can reach out to me, I'll reply back to you. इससे ज़्यादा लंबे में अगर जाना है तो. Yeah. Any other questions,
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There's one more. is there any common path every startup should undertake step by step to go from zero to market, reducing it with the risk of failure?
Yes. And that's what we actually talk about in Khoj. Because mostly ventures fail because market fitment missing है. जरूरी नहीं है कि आपका जो idea है, that is something that the market really wants. So as incubators, we have mentors who talk to the incubators about market fitment. And that is where the success rate really comes up. Because let me tell you the story of one of our incubators. So when this boy came to us, he was an engineering student and he was talking about creating a walking stick, which would create that energy when people are walking, and then that energy would be utilized for powering a lamp, which would be fitted on top of this walking stick. So we worked with him and we showed him how this particular idea doesn't have a huge market. First of all, you have to look at the funnel. So how many senior citizens are there who would require this kind of a walking stick? Then you would look at how many senior citizens would be able to afford such a walking stick, and so on and so forth. You look at the parameters, and then he understood that the actual market that he was addressing was really not worth the effort. Because he was looking at a low-cost market, and that low-cost market is not really there. Because his prototype itself came to a cost which would be much higher than what he wanted to sell it for. And even if he went in for mass production, that would not work. So all things taken into consideration, he decided to pivot, and then he went in for creating a venture which is based on waste management of temple ash. So from creating a walking stick, he went into a business which is working with temple ash and the creation of different things out of that temple ash. And he has been funded by two entities. He has been acclaimed as an ambassador for social impact in many places. He has also gone to different countries and talked about it. So he's also an Ashoka fellow. So एक वो जो डिफरेंस जो है ना उसकी लाइफ में, तो अगर उसका आइडिया हम लेके बैठ जाते कि हाँ भाई तुम बनाओ वॉकिंग स्टिक, तो कहीं नहीं पहुंच पाता. So showing him the method through which he needs to validate his idea and how it needs to be done, he was able to pivot and then create a business which has now taken him in a lot of places. So have I given the answer? Understood what needs to be done?
Absolutely, ma'am. So there's one more question. Ma'am. Is the startup ecosystem suitable with most working on a burnout model?
I think that when you think about a startup that you really, the idea that you really like, then there is no question of a burnout. Because when you love somebody, when you're really really passionate about that kind of a thing, burnout का सवाल ही नहीं उठता. Burnout तब आता है जब आप when you get bored with something, जब तब आपको लगता है कि आप काम कर रहे हो. Like for me, not least, like I said, the passion for me is working with student entrepreneurs. My day starts in the morning at 8 in the morning and then goes off sometimes till 11, 12. And I also work with prisons to help those people, the inmates out there, to become self-independent by starting micro-enterprises. So for me, I don't feel burnt out because I'm doing something which I love. So similar thing stands for many people out there, for many entrepreneurs out there. When you're passionate about something, when you're really focused on your things, there's no question about burnout. But yes, sometimes it's good to take a break, refresh yourself and come back. And sometimes it's also good to take a step back and rethink certain things. But that's as you grow. The burnout nahi aata hai when you're really involved. Have I?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So now I have the last question for you.
Sure.
Does the emergence of new technologies create market niche for the development of innovative startups?
Can you please repeat that question? Does the market development?
Does the emergence of new technologies create new market niche for the development of innovative startups?
Absolutely. Let me talk to you about gaming. जब ये technology आई थी, not many people were thinking that this is going to really take off. आज की डेट में India is one of the biggest markets for gaming. Similarly, lots of other things. So new technologies, कुछ नया लेके आते हो, which you think that the market is going to accept. Why not? You can create new markets out there. Definitely. So I completely agree with whoever has asked this question that yes, this can happen and this should happen. So Vandana, Navneeta, I
Yes.
think time is over, so I have a meeting scheduled at 12:15. If you don't mind. So those who have any questions, you can reach out. Just go check out the website. It's www.aicbimtech.com. So.
Ma'am, we are getting some more questions, but maybe I will post the questions on the WhatsApp chat later on, since you have a scheduled meeting.
Yes.
So students, you can mail me your questions, and I will forward the same to ma'am.
And like I said, you can reach out to the team at team@aicbimtech.com. So anything that is there, I'll just share the last slide which was there, which showed the so visible?
Students can take a snapshot.
Yeah, that will be the easiest. Done?
Yes, I think they have taken that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So,
Vanna?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time and illuminating us with the practical applications of startup ecosystem and describing India as a country full of innovators. The detailing on India becoming a hub of innovation with funding incubators, which has increased from 16 to 1346 in a span of just 5 years. It was an eye-opening moment to know that we have touched 100 unicorns and 1 out of every 10 successful startup comes up from India. Also, establishment of startup seed funds from government as well as non-government schemes for everyone was totally different, and detailing on 10,000 crores, which is spared by government only for women entrepreneurs, was quite encouraging. I'm sure that a lot of budding women entrepreneurs, including me, would take that initial step to continue their passion. With that, also, ma'am, there was one great closure line from you. Good idea hai, to paisa hai yahan. It was lovely. We are obliged to have such an informative session as well as encouraging session by you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you and all the best, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you, students, for joining. You may exit now. Please fill up the feedback form.
Thank you, ma'am.
Haji, thank you. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.